A doctor
Yes.
of
I am a doctor of business.
a doctor of business, and that is where we will start the conversation right there. That's a good lead in right there. A doctor of business. Woo! That's what I'm talking about.
My dissertation was based off of leadership roles for women in information technology.
Nice. Tasty.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to open the show. Hey, it is the Ace Micheals Show. That's what's up. And sometimes you want to say to yourself, Doctor, doctor, give me the news. I gotta. Well, sometimes you say that. And you may or may not know a doctor that you can call. Well, if you are a person in busyness, you also sometimes need a doctor, but God knows who would you call if you needed a doctor of business. So, we have on the show today my good friend Sonja. Sonja, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very, very, very appreciative.
So you actually hold a degree.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what's up with that.
Well, I have quite a few degrees, actually.
Dang.
Yeah, I have a couple of bachelor's degrees.
Do you have a degree in beautiful smiles? Because you definitely have a very pretty smile, girl.
Thank you so much. Well, I have a bachelor's in mathematics and statistics and an MBA in business and also a doctorate in business. So that's why, hence the doctor role.
Wow.
And my focus of my doctorate in business was my dissertation, and my studies were on discovering why women are held back in information technology from leadership positions. So that was my whole research, and I surveyed 250 women around that number to try to see what are the main factors and what is really holding women back in IT.
And not just in IT, but you might as well say in all around worldness. But
yes,
what is holding women back? Because this is something I've talked about on the show. Nobody seems to be able to give me a straight answer. What is holding women back?
Well, of the 5 factors that I studied, I found out that the number one factor is sponsorship. That there isn't enough women already in leadership roles, or they don't have the correct sponsors to enable them to get the right opportunities. And sponsorship is different than mentorship. Mentorship is when you have somebody who will, help you out, maybe give you an idea of how to network or resources, those types of things. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about a true sponsor, and a true sponsor is somebody who will actually create the opportunity for you, or will identify the opportunity and then put your hat in the ring and be your proponent through the whole, or your advocate for the whole process, so that you get the job. And there's not very many sponsors out there for women, and there's limited women at the top, so it's hard to bring them in.
Interesting. And so why aren't there so many sponsors for women? Is this going back to the glass ceiling situation?
Yes, it's going back. That ceiling is going back to the way women are treated as they're growing up, in the sense of the stereotypes. Women are meant to play with Barbie dolls, and they have the one stereotype, and not with technology. For instance, I kind of go both sectors, because I have a huge career in technology over 23 years, where I've been a pre-sales engineer, but I'm also on the other side of the entertainment side too, and I see the limitations that women have there as well. And so I created my own foundation based off of this, called Nonstop for the Top company, where I offer consulting services and help women to get to that next level. And I'm a published author and also speaker on the topic.
Now, you are a woman.
Yeah.
How did this glass ceiling affect you throughout your journey, your own personal journey?
It affects me to this day.
Really?
To this actual very day.
And so now Sonia, just tell me what it's like, because obviously I'm not a woman, so I'll never hear the conversation. But like, is it a fly on the wall type of thing? Like, do you literally see people going, she can't do this because she's a woman, right? Yeah.
It happens. It actually happened to me starting all the way back to college. When I was in college, I had a professor. I was struggling with the statistics class at the time, never taken statistics before, and I went in to go get some assistance, and I was already getting a math degree, and I was doing calculus and 9/4 of calculus. Very smart, and went into the statistics class and struggled a bit because I didn't know that background. And I went up to the teacher and asked him a few questions after class, and he told me straight to my face that I would never make it, not only in statistics but mathematics, or get a degree because I was a woman.
And you're just supposed to accept that and keep it moving.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to accept it and keep moving and act like I'm not supposed to then get a degree in either one of those things. Well, the beauty of it all is I actually ended up getting a degree not only in mathematics but in statistics, and I graduated at the top of my class. There was 2 people who got an award that year, and I was one of them, for the most well-rounded student, both for community service and grades.
Wow.
And I actually got to wear the doctorate. Even I wasn't a doctor at the time, it was bachelor's. I got to wear the special robe because I was honored on stage, and he actually got an award that same day. So I felt some justification because I felt like, wow, in your face, I did it,
Right.
Don't let anyone tell you can't do something, because if you really have the desire and the want to do it, you can do it.
And meanwhile, that professor could be somewhere right now, like, order number 87, fries and a shake. Order number 87.
I pray
Your
for
order
that.
is
And I faced similar situations in corporate America. In fact, I just got done dealing with a situation, and let's just say I hope the karma catches up with them.
So, no, I want to understand this, okay? And I'm not trying to dish dirt on anybody, but I really just want to understand. So, you're a woman living in this world where you know for a fact that there's this other side, the dark side, if you will, that always wants to throw something in your way.
Yes.
How do you work through that? Like, I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's obstacles continuously, and I've been faced it my entire career. We always have to do better. We always have to show that we know it. We have to prove ourselves, because right away we're not taken seriously. I might be in a meeting and I'll say something and they'll ignore everything I say, and all of a sudden a guy will come up with the same idea, and then they'll look at them, great idea, and act like I'm invisible, and then I'm not even.
Okay, now SONJA, okay, hold on just a dang minute. Now, are you sure, and I mean sure, that it was your idea and not Jimmy's? Because Jimmy does come up with some fabulous ideas, right?
Yeah.
But you feel there's just a male favoritism going on.
Yeah. There is, and it's hard. It's hard to break through that, and it's known that when women are actually on boards or leadership positions, they increase profits considerably for the company. And so that's why we need to make a difference, and we need to get more women out there. In fact, I post stuff about this all the time on LinkedIn and on Facebook, and I'm very active on social media. That we really have to bring and draw attention to this and start bringing our women into leadership roles, because it only helps society. It doesn't hurt. And I'm not a feminist in the sense that it's guys against girls or whatever. I'm not like that at all. I have plenty of guy friends.
Sure. But
you do run into these obstacles, and just like anybody else, you run into some individuals that, for whatever reason, they're just not pro-women. And you have to fight through that.
And do you have even like a top 3 reasons why? Like my own personal reason, I would think guys just don't want to take orders from women. I've met guys that really would have a problem taking orders from a woman. I'm not one of them. I just have problems taking orders from anybody. I don't care. I'm insubordinate all the way around. But other people, I found, they really got an issue with, like, hey, she's the boss. She's the boss, right?
Yeah. No, it's true, and then that's the hard thing, and it's changing that stereotype of that women can do the job, and that we're equal. Just like even women of color, they even have more of a hard time than women.
I was going to go down that road. Now, you are a woman of color, of at least shade, right?
Yeah.
You are a woman.
I'm a woman of color, shade, but I'm actually Caucasian, believe it or not. Most people think I'm Hispanic, but I'm not.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I have a European background. I'm Czechoslovakian mostly.
Okay.
And then I have French and German in me as well. But yeah, I get that a lot of times. And when I apply in the entertainment industry, I always get called for things where I'm ethnically ambiguous.
Right. And then you're like, but that's not me either. And then you are married, or you were married at one point since I've known you were married. Are you still a married woman?
And I got divorced.
Okay.
And now that was about 8 years ago. Yeah, time's flying. And now I'm engaged again. I just got engaged on Christmas Day.
Look at you. Didn't learn the first time. Now look at you. Going at it again. But that's another show.
I got a great partner. He's an awesome guy. He really is.
Well, he'd have to be. But that's another show. What I want to talk about is, as a married woman, you come home from your job interview with your C-level executive. You had an interview. You didn't get the gig, and you know it's because you're a woman. Then you come home and you're having pot roast or vegan pot roast with your guy, and he's talking about how wonderful the job market is for him. And how do you talk to him about, he may not even see this glass ceiling. He may not even realize that it exists, right?
Yeah, well, actually, my boyfriend, fiance, he knows that it exists. He sees it every day. He sees what I go through.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, it does still exist today. No matter what people say it doesn't, it does. You look at all the studies that have been done out there, whether it be by different magazines. National Geographic just came out with just a gender issue, was all dedicated to gender, and they have facts and statistics in there that I've been posting on Facebook that are still pretty overwhelming, that there's still this discrimination going on. And I think it's not as blatantly obvious in the sense, it's just not as promoted in the sense of, pushing women towards the top. It's become kind of a habit we have to change, right? And
sure.
People are used to living that. I don't think necessarily people are maybe even being ruthless about it, but it still happens today. One of the great books that I love, actually, when I was writing my dissertation at the same time, Sheryl Sandberg, who I really look up to from Facebook, she wrote the book Lean In. And she says it's sometimes because women don't lean in. Well, I agree with her somewhat in that regards, because we're afraid to, because we're faced with more challenges. But I also disagree in the sense that I think women have to also have the opportunity there for them. They can lean in as much as they want, but if they're not embraced by the male culture or the people that are in charge, then it's hard to move ahead.
Interesting. How do people contact you if they want to hire your services? I can vouch for you if they need a vouch. I mean, I think you're the best at what you do ever. I don't think anybody could top what you do.
Same right back.
And that's real talk. But me aside, how do they contact you if they want to reach you for any type of booking or questions, inquiries?
Sure. My best email to get a hold of me is sonja@sonjafisher.com. That's SONJA at SONJA Fisher, FISHER.com. Or you can also reach me on any social media just under Sonja Fisher. And then I also have a Facebook page dedicated to my efforts. So that's a new company I'm starting called Nonstop for the Top. And look for me, in different publications and articles, because I've been published in everywhere and been doing some public speaking as well. So.
And that is what's up. I want to leave with one thought. I went last night to see the Rogue One Star Wars with my boys. Well, Anyway, they doing what they doing. But I was mostly interested because I saw that the film had a female protagonist. And that was something I was very curious to see in a live action sense. Of course, the Star Wars franchise is owned by Disney now. So yes. Disney does have a tendency towards the female protagonist in their animated films. So I was real curious to see, how they would work this in the Star Wars world. And I thought maybe you might just see a real healthy lightsaber wielding female for a change, right?
That would be nice.
Yeah, right? But it turned out, without giving any spoilers away, in my opinion, it turned out to be the same old female heroine that you always see, and she ended up, you know, kind of longingly looking at the male lead, and you wondered if there was a chemistry there, what would have happened in another world. Maybe they might have been lovers. But me, I get upset a little bit when I see this go on and on and on, because Lord knows, man, all the times that I've been a Jedi Knight alone with the one female on my planet, we didn't necessarily hook up, so why should everybody else? You know, why in a movie is it okay for the female lead to always have to be attached in some way romantic? There's just no story unless they have...
Man, brother, I am totally down with you on that one, and it's sad because I actually serve on the SAG-AFTRA committee as well, for diversity for women, to try to change that stereotype, because I think all of it starts in the media. If we can get the media to change, then we can get corporate America to change, right? And I think that's part of it. I mean, when we go for roles, you know, I'm a woman that's a little bit older, and when I go for roles, they're far and few between. And on top of it, the roles are either, like you just said, you know, you're going to be the bimbo, or you're going to be the dumb blonde, or the, you know what I mean? Like super stereotypical roles that you've seen women play. And they're more like just for use for advancing the story rather than actually being the story.
Right.
And that's the reason why I look up to the Melissa McCarthy's of the world, and the Sandra Bullocks, and Jennifer Lawrence, and you know, the ones that are trying to make a difference. You know,
they're making movies that really are hard to make, because you've got a studio telling you that this isn't going to work. This is not the pattern. This is, you know, we have invested so much in these movies over the years that we know that people want to see Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, and we just don't think this is going to fly with all of a sudden you playing a single mom who's a spy. You know, who's going to watch it, right? And it's the same thing with roles for black actors. You know, we can say that, well, now there's a lot more black filmmakers making these movies. Well, now there's a lot more female directors making these movies. So why are we still getting the same cookie cutter story about a woman out of place, a fish out of water, and again, she only really can survive in the arms of her strong man?
It all comes down to money.
It does. It really, and
the same people running the show, and we need to change that, because I think the audience wants more. I mean, you see, like, you know, when Melissa McCarthy and Sandra Bullock's, you know, movie came out, Heat, they're playing two strong women roles. That was a huge box office hit. Right. So we need to continue making movies like that put you in the forefront, and the same for African Americans as well, you know, or other people of color or diversity. And we need to stop the stereotype, you know, even with the Oscars and all that went down, you know, not equality. And you would think this day and age, you know, 2017, that we wouldn't have to deal with this anymore, but it still exists, unfortunately.
It still exists because there's always going to be an audience for, you know, those films where, you know, granted, you can get an Oscar making any kind of film, but if you're a black actor, it seems like you must play a slave, you must play a butler, and that's how you'll get the recognition to win an Oscar, and that's unfortunate. We're out of time for today. Hey, man, it's Sonja Fisher. She's amazing. And one more time, how do people reach you?
Again, you can reach me at Sonia at SonjaFisher.com, and SonjaFisher.com, SoniaFisher.com, and on social media nonstop for the top.
And that is what's up. Hey, man, it's the Ace Michaels Show. You know what I say? Live the life you love and love the life you live. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ace. Bye, everyone.